Blair Wheadon, welcome back to F.A.C.E. How are you?
Hey, Dale, I'm great, thanks. Thanks for having me this morning.
Great to have you back, Blair. You want to share your screen and talk about what's top of mind and what your algos are saying, how you're using them, and do you think that today's the kind of day that you don't do much because of the illiquidity in the markets?
Yeah, I thought that was a great comment. Yeah, so let me just do a quick review here
Okay.
of for the gang on what time trades is and how I use it. So since we last talked, I'm continuing to refine the timing information provided by time trades. It's a machine learning based algorithm that makes estimates of future probabilities of up days and down days and pivots. Okay, so it's a helpful add-on. It's important to look at it as an add-on to your existing price analysis and not an answer, right? Like there's no silver bullets in this business, and time trades is not. But some of the more
would you really just kind of simplify it and say that it gives you a bias on what side of the market to trade on?
Yeah, that's a good simplification. One thing to be aware of is the probabilities that are generated, and I'll show examples of this. They are subject to inversions. There's been some great examples lately. So this is what time trades looks like, right? And this is a screenshot from October 30th, right? And this showed a bearish bias going into mid-November for the spiders. And the point here of this is that, like anything, it can be wrong, but when it's wrong, it's 180 degrees wrong, right? So obviously
they invert.
Exactly.
The cycle inverted. You're getting a great testimonial from Mary Harper right now.
She's wonderful, and we're grateful to have her on board. Yeah, I love Mary. Thanks,
Mary's
Mary.
A great shill. She does it for us too. Thank you, Mary. She's always here, so we know it's not a shill. So okay, you have fans. Your reputation precedes you here, and
well, thanks Dale, and thanks Mary. Yeah, it's it's just about being data driven and trying to extract some of the emotion out of the trading decisions. And I like to lead with the bad news, right? Okay, so this is an example of when it's wrong. It's 180 degrees wrong. We had an inversion going into the last CPI. So you can look at it as directional signals. What we provided are directional signals. This lane here shows probabilities of a move down. This lane down here shows probabilities of a move up. You can also, if you want to, you can interpret them as probabilities of a move, of a big move in any direction. And then you can use your own intuition about and tools about what direction it's going to go. Okay, so actually here is, I want to show this screenshot.
So out of curiosity, it was a bearish cycle. It inverted, it's bullish. So when was the bearish cycle about to end? And that would give you an idea of when this rally might terminate.
Well, exactly. And this is, now we're looking at time trades live, right? So this is with the probabilities retrained as of last night and the latest price data. Okay. So in the past, we can see the forecast moves up and down match price really well, because that's the machine learning being trained to match the price moves. Okay. So then in the future, we've got the machine learning is making a prediction based on this historical trained model, and we can see a steadily increasing probability of down moves here. Okay. Keeping in mind the directional nature of this and that it is subject to inversions, right? Okay. so, that's the cues. And one of the things I do appreciate about time trades is just, kind of the speed of being able to take a look at a large number of symbols really quickly. So now we've moved on to the spiders, and we can see, starting the 30th, in about a week today exactly, we see a cluster of moves down. So what this is measuring, Dale, is the probability of a 2 standard deviation move down over the last 5 days. So this might be the peak of a move that's actually starts 5 days prior. Okay, 5 trading days prior, which because of the long weekend, it's actually yesterday, right?
Right.
So we see this cluster of down moves. We see a gap in the up moves. One of the things as well that we notice is when the up moves decline, that can also cause a drop in prices, right? Mm-hmm. But I think what's really more interesting than time trades is how to combine it with traditional TA and that. And that traditional TA really has to be kind of the foundation of interpreting these. Like, people that are successful with time trades use it as an add-on to their existing TA and don't, use it as a shortcut, right?
Okay.
So I want to share with the group some of the tools that I've been using, and it kind of corroborates what was just talked about earlier today about gold looking really interesting, and also natural gas. So if we take a look at the Qs, 100% agree with what everyone else in the ForexAnalytix community said so far today about where we stand here. But I like to use an indicator on the bottom here called CMF, Chaikin Money Flow. It just adds another dimension to the analysis that includes volume, right? So I look at it as a smarter on balance volume. If you're not familiar with it, it basically it includes where on the bar the closing price landed, and it combines that with volume, and it displays a moving total or basically a 20-day moving average of that, right? So what you want to look for in these is, for a bullish move, and should be above 0. And you also want to look for the line going up and confirming these moves, right? And what we see here is Chaikin Money Flow kind of peaking and then declining as the move ages, right? So it's a great leading indicator of a top. We can see, Chaikin Money Flow peaked well before that August high.
Couple weeks.
Yeah. So it gave you a great heads up here that, hey, we're getting close to the end of the move. And then, down here, what we're seeing is not a huge expansion of it. I mean, okay, you could argue it's mildly bullish, but it's not above 0. Okay, on the NQs. Of course, the Dow is the strongest, and it is above 0. Okay. But you can also see elements of distribution here in the last few bars as it dropped pretty heavily. So that indicates, 2 things.
Selling.
It includes selling, and it includes, on balance, the volume is higher on these red bars. Yeah. Okay. So, we may see another push up here on some, holiday trading, some low volume trading. But, it's starting to look like we're closer to the end than the beginning here. Okay. That's also the message from time trades. And we go and take a look at, let's go take a look at, what we've learned the last few weeks from it. Okay, so here's Apple. What I want to share is, this was a good call from NVIDIA, October 15th. So we saw a big cluster of green here coming up in NVIDIA. And, you know, in 3 weeks, that turned into a 26% gain. It actually went on to almost touch 170, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, it definitely needs to be combined with your traditional TA for best results. But one of the things that's really interesting here is these white horizontal lines, and these are static levels, so they're the same for everything. But they are basically powers of phi, right? So it's really powerful when a stock crosses one of these white magic levels, and especially when you get that confirmation on the Chaikin money flow, the CMF. We can see that confirmation here. We cross the magic level, and that kind of fueled the move up here. And now we still see expanding CMF even on this little decline. So it looks like there may be a little bit more to go here in NVIDIA. So this is a 4-hour chart. Let's look at a daily. What's the daily telling us? Well, the daily is showing signs of declining CMF as we get closer to the top. So maybe this move is indeed closer to the end than the beginning, like what we saw in the NASDAQ futures.
Okay. Looking at everything that you use, your tools, and how many different markets do you look at, Blair?
Well, we cover about 700 different symbols with time trades. So it does include Forex, it includes crypto. So if we go over to time trades, we can click on models and we can get a scan here of what's in the system, right? So if we just look at stocks, we can see all the different stocks that are there on NASDAQ and NYSE, and we've got crypto coins as well, a bunch of different pairs from a number of different exchanges. And of course, your bread and butter, we've got currency pairs as well.
Okay. Is your work saying the dollar has peaked, or that there could be a nice rebound in the dollar?
That is what it looks like to me. So we see a big pivot high that's been trained to match the September 27th high. And we do see clusters of red here indicating probabilities of down moves.
We're looking at NVIDIA.
You're seeing NVIDIA.
Yeah, so I have NVIDIA.
Maybe I should stop and reshare then. Let me just fix that shortly. Here we go. All right. So here's time trades live. Okay, so this shows the values that were retrained as of yesterday. So are you seeing DXY now, Dale?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. All right. So yeah, we've got a pivot high trained up, and this is the thing about historical prices, is they're always going to look perfect in the model. Okay, so that's because that's the training data, and then based on those relationships, we can see the projections going forward here, and we're seeing some forecasts for further directional moves down coming into December, which makes for an interesting kind of thought experiment, right? Because if we see, the dollar going down at the same time we see stocks going down, that's very much a big regime change, because the last few months and quarters it's been the opposite. That basically everything's been an inverse dollar trade, so
everything, it's all been one market depending upon dollar direction.
So
your stuff is and I brought this up, but a lot of people say, well, you know what, Dale, you're trying to, you're talking about correlations and you're trying to figure out the jigsaw puzzle. Just treat each individual market like it's its own entity. But I believe that there could be a time when the dollar is bad and US dollar denominated assets will be outperformed by foreign assets and most likely not be good because of the currency. Is that what you're starting to see with some of your big picture stuff?
That is a possibility here, and I'm hedging because that implies direction, right? And we've got directional forecast here for the dollar and directional forecast for stocks, and we see increased probability of down moves, and of course we all know the macro environment, but it's interesting to me that we could be seeing an incredibly fast transition. There's a potential for an incredibly fast transition from inflation to deflation. Like that's not out of the realm of possibility here. So that would indicate a regime change to one where we do see both the dollar and stocks decline.
Okay. And you think gold would rally or empathize more about?
Well, yeah, let's take a look at gold. Let's take a look at another favorite I'm tracking right now, natural gas. So we've got GDX up here, and you can see my favorite checking money flow at the bottom. It's above zero. It's increasing, and you can see how it's near the top of the range. We saw a big pop up here indicating accumulation, right? And it's stable above zero. And it's the GDX looks like it's about to take out this white magic level here, which would be hugely bullish. So it's positioned
what are the blue vertical lines underneath?
Yeah, that's a good question. So this comes from the time trades indicator here. So this is part of the service, and that's something that we call the Gann waves. And if you it's basically a lunar cycle. Okay, so if the blue is the bottom of a Gann wave, the yellow is the top of a Gann wave. And you'll find that often they correlate with pivots in price. So it's very useful, I've found, to have them on the chart. You can see here, we got a pivot right around yellow. This blue here tagged a pivot within a day. We got a pivot here recently right around yellow.
Where's that next one come in underneath the blue?
Well, the next one, yeah. So just look at time. Don't look at the price. Okay, the price is not implied here. So that's Monday. Yeah. Okay. So the next pivot here is Monday, and I actually really like it with natural gas. So if we look at natural gas, it's a great example. If we actually scroll back, it's tagged a lot of the major turns in natural gas. These are insane, Really. And this is just a simple lunar cycle.
And those vertical lines were there before the market got there. That's not machine learning.
100%. Yeah.
Okay. So wow. Okay. That's all I could say. I'm always fascinated by this stuff. You want to wrap it with one more thing you want to cover, and then show your website and how people could follow you, and if they're interested, get involved with you?
Yeah, sure. Why don't we close with what you were looking at earlier, which is Newmont Mining. So I brought that up, and let's give a little time trades perspective on Newmont Mining here, right? And similar to GDX, it's basing just below a magic level, right? Remember, these are powers of F.A.E. So we're combining some market geometry with timing information from lunar cycles. Chaikin money flow slightly below zero, but it's stable and increasing. You can see how well this dip was bought here. So this is positioned to do well, And yeah, let's go and take a look at the website here. So we can do a quick look at Newmont. And we see a wonderful cluster of green here. This is what I like to see, is clusters, not just like one-off bars. Relatively high probability. I don't like the 40s and 50s. I like them up 80 plus,
above 70.
Yeah, that's solid.
Okay.
And I also like the fact that we've got a pivot here. This is probabilities of a pivot, and then we've got to move up after that pivot. So this pivot is for today. So often these can just sort of act as a bit of gravity, keep price tamped down temporarily, and then you release the hold down clamps and away we go. So yeah, Newmont looks great. The website is time-trades.com. Okay, so feel free to check it out. And yeah, it's a wonderful little timing add-on. It's important to understand how this is positioned. It's an add-on, it's not an answer. So if you're interested in a way to get some timing bias that can accompany your existing price work, this is a great way to do that without having to read a dozen books and learn a bunch of new techniques.
Or have one of those big Gantt squares.
Or have
on top of your table. Is that what it is? That people have that big, it's a big Gantt thing and shows the whole, it looks like a compass.
Yeah, those things are great, and we do make use of
I figured.
But you
integrate it. So you don't have to learn Gantt because you're getting the advantage of Gantt. With this.
You're getting some of the advantage of Gantt. I mean, Gantt is very deep, and there's lots there.
Yeah,
it's not just one.
Makes my head explode. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. The man was brilliant, and I've implemented a portion of his work here. There's some, certainly the square of 9. What you're talking about is in time trades as well as, we're doing things like counting from a pivot. So over here, this would be a pivot. We're counting, perfect square days, trading days after that, like 16, 25, 49. And we're using that information to help determine the probability of moves up or moves down.
Really a great monster you've created, Blair.
Thanks a lot, Dale. Yeah, it's a young monster.
That's a compliment. It's a compliment. It's a monster.
I take it as a compliment, 100%. And yeah, and it's a young monster, and hopefully it grows up to be an 800-pound gorilla.
Blair, thank you so much for being here again and sharing your work. And I wish you and your family happy Thanksgiving, and let's get together next year and see, what kind of growth the monster has by then. So.
Thanks a lot, Dale. Appreciate that. And happy Thanksgiving to you and your family and the ForexAnalytix community as well.
Thank you, Blair. Good hunting. Good hunting, my trading warrior brother. I'll see you.
You too.
All right.
Thanks,
all right. Well, everyone, happy Thanksgiving. Simon, Bhavana, everyone that stuck around to hear Blair. Laura, thank you very much. And I will, Paul. I need a few days off. And Richard, everyone have a great holiday, great weekend. Look forward to getting back into the saddle next week. And our team is always rooting for each and every one of you guys. Okay? Adios. And remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. Thank you, guys.
Hey traders, this is Blake Morrow with ForexAnalytix. Thanks for stopping by our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like these videos, share them, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of the content that we provide here for free. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you in the next video.